Hi, my name is Nick James, and I've started to complete my Assessment 3 for Contemporary Education as a recording of a video presentation. Before I begin my assignment though, I should probably clarify the direction that I'm going with it because it's somewhat against the grain. Now I understand for this assignment we were supposed to identify an issue in 21st education or 21st century education and then provide an innovative strategy for combating this. But the stance I'm taking is that while well intended, technology and innovation can at times be counterproductive to optimal learning outcomes, and therefore we shouldn't necessarily discard the more traditional teaching practices. This was my line of argument in Assessment 2, so I figured I'd stick with it for Assessment 3 as well. So while it's a bit uncouth, hopefully it offers something for us to think about. Anyway, on to the good stuff. Today we're lucky to have an esteemed academic and professor of education speaking to us today, Mr. Peter Higginbotham. He'll be sharing with us his views on the direction of contemporary education. I'll go get him now. Please make him feel welcome. Yes, just a minute. Yes, hello. My name is Peter Higginbotham, and I was a teacher for 47 wonderful years and decided to take my talents beyond the classroom. Teaching, and I suppose the world around us, has changed quite a bit since I retired. Indeed, in the 21st century, technology has become the cornerstone for everyday living. I look around and I see many facets of society using technology in day-to-day tasks. Technology is also beginning to reshape the educational landscape too, with it featuring heavily in the classroom. While technology does have a number of benefits to teachers and students alike, there have also been a number of issues that I've been made aware of that have arisen as a result of its implementation. One such issue that I'll be speaking to you all about today is digital dementia. Digital dementia is developing amongst students due to technology saturation. It's the deterioration of cognitive abilities as a result of excessive use of technological devices, as users can become reliant on devices performing basic tasks that they would ordinarily perform themselves. According to a research piece by Green, completed in 2015, symptoms of digital dementia for students can include reduced memory, as well as the inability to perform rudimentary tasks such as times tables and correct spelling. Now, some of you may be feeling a bit skeptical, but there's more research to support the potentially negative impact technology can at times have on overall cognition. A study by Wellington University into online versus offline reading found that comprehension, cognition, absorption and recall rates were all much lower when engaging with online texts compared to your traditional texts. The overall findings of this study were that humans still read and subconsciously prefer linear text in print-based fashion, despite technology presenting information in different structures. Research has also found that the way humans utilise their memory and navigational skills has strong effects on the hippocampus region of their brain. In instances where these skills are not appropriately exercised, atrophy of the hippocampus could occur, which would lead to cognitive impairment and memory loss. Now, I am aware that technology offers a number of benefits and engaging opportunities to students, so it's certainly not my objective to remove technology. Having said that, an environment where technology is not properly implemented and controlled can potentially lead to some of the aforementioned impacts on cognition that I've said. Therefore, it is my hope that teachers will strive to implement technology in a seamless manner that optimises student learning without any repercussions on cognition. I'm also here to raise awareness for the sake of our parents, so that they can implement strategies at home as well. So ideally, I hope to see teachers utilising a mixture of traditional and technological teaching mediums within the classroom, rather than an environment revolving solely around technology. This should allow for the fostering and nurturing of cognitive skills that may otherwise have begun to deteriorate in a tech-saturated environment. Teachers also need to ensure that students maintain a level of self-efficacy rather than becoming overly dependent on technology. Students should be encouraged to maintain a level of proficiency with rudimentary cognitive-based tasks rather than always deferring to technology to complete them for them. Many of the elements of my strategy are reflected in a release from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The first area that needs to be addressed is raising awareness amongst teachers and parents, as I am right now. The impact of technology on cognitive development is still a fairly novel area for research, and as such, awareness throughout wider society is quite low. Raising awareness is important to achieving the outlined objectives, because teachers will be less likely to overuse technology within their classes if they understand the repercussions that this can have. Furthermore, parents can also implement strategies at home to complement the structures in place at school. A key component of this plan is the use of print-based media during classes. In general, print media is being phased out of most classroom settings, with tablets and smartphones being preferred. But it is important that offline reading is still utilised in classrooms to ensure optimal recall and comprehension. Ideally, a classroom would incorporate a mixture of digital and print media, with traditional textbooks still being utilised. Another strategy is to encourage students to utilise cognitive skills and memory rather than deferring to technology by default. This can be achieved through only allowing iPads and other devices during certain times in class, and at other times students will be required to recall information or brainstorm with their peers rather than just simply using Google. Furthermore, where appropriate, teachers should encourage students to memorise different pieces of information and numbers rather than simply letting technology record and track them. A final component of this plan is, where possible, to introduce games and puzzles which stimulate cognition and promote real-time problem solving. These could be traditional offline games like chess or Scrabble, or at the very least, online games that promote cognition rather than allowing the computer to do the thinking. So what resources do teachers need for this? That's some of the good news. Much of the plan can be incorporated through teaching emphasis and strategy without the need for material resources or tools. However, the following would assist with the implementation. So print media, as I said, including textbooks and handouts, offline games and puzzles, and in using technology, the provision of online games that adequately stimulate cognition rather than allowing students to participate in autopilot mode. If you go to classtools.net, I believe my grandson told me, there's some good resources there. So ultimately, the expected outcome, if this approach was successfully implemented, would be a learning environment in line with my previously mentioned objective. A cognitively stimulating one that does not technologically saturate students. Traditional learning mediums, such as offline text, would be incorporated to offset any potential for cognitive deterioration. It is also expected that this plan would produce students with a level of self-sufficiency who do not automatically reach for technological devices to assist them in basic tasks. In terms of assessing the degree of effectiveness of this plan, this would be partially subjective. For more definitive measurements, students could be encouraged to periodically sit memory tests, such as the ones you can find at humanbenchmark.com, to track their progress, or cognitive tests such as the one found at rebellion.com. It is expected that if this plan was properly implemented, students would continue to meet performance expectations in these tests and would likely outscore any of their technologically saturated peers. So that's all you'll hear from me today. Thank you all. Yes, so that's all for the presentation. Thanks for listening. I've got my list of references here, which I'll just hold up for you so that you can clearly see. Feel free to pause the screen if you want to have a longer look. We got those? All right, beautiful. Thanks.